Hey there, book sluts. Today I'd like to review End Zone by Don DeLillo, and before I jump into that review, I'd like to read a very quick, very short passage that I think you'll all really like from this book. So, if you'll allow me. Fee yuck, Jessup said. It's all over. Fee yuck, man. This game is still on. I get that 62 yet. I get his ass and whip it into shape. Damn right, I get that shit piss 62 and beat his black ass into the ground. He's white, I said. I know he's white. They're all white. Everybody's white. Those black fucks. Hmm. Truly, an American master of prose, Don DeLillo right here. No, I'm just fucking with you. That is a real passage in this book, 133, if you are interested. I just thought I'd read it because I have had conversations that are eerily, not eerily similar, but as equally racially degrading in football huddles before. Um, so I thought I'd read it because it made me laugh. No other reason. Um, this is one of Don DeLillo's early books, also very unknown. His most popular books are Libra, Now 2, White Noise, and Underworld, I'd say. And then there's also the September 11th novel, Falling Man. But this was one of his very early books in 72? I don't know. He wrote a lot of books in the 70s. 72. Boom, got it. So, what is this book about? Well, it is about, specifically about, because it's told in the first person narrative, it's about this football player named Gary Harkness, who goes to a fictional West Texas college called Logos College. And he has formerly been to at least two other universities that I can recall, Syracuse and Penn State. He shouldn't have gone to other ones, I don't think. But basically, he's sort of this troubled, kind of more or less troubled or nuisance, maybe. He tends to do things like lock himself in his room for a weekend and not come out for class or football or anything, and just exile himself. And of course, people think this is very weird. Um, and then so he's just arrived at this Logos College, and the thing that makes him very unique, besides his characteristically DeLillian language, as all DeLillo characters generally have throughout his entire career, and this is a guy that's read kind of both ends of his career. So I say that with pretty good confidence, but not assured confidence. So if I'm wrong on that, call me out. But I don't think I am. But the thing that makes him very unique is that he's very obsessed with nuclear war. Now, obviously, nuclear war being a big thing at the time because it's like 72 and because of the Cold War and all this. And this is something that comes up again in DeLillo's other books, particularly like Underworld, his very mammoth novel. It's actually back there, I think. It's back there somewhere. That one. Oh, bam! He's just transferred to Logos College, and there's also this new running back coming to their college named Taft Robinson. Taft Robinson being an African American, and so all the stereotypes of good running back, fast running back, all that kind of stuff come with it. And he brings this entire mystique and shroud about him. And there's even a point where like he shaves his head, and they're like, "What do you think it means that he shaved his head?" And there's a lot of sort of, what do you think this means throughout the book. Another example is that now the college is called Logos College. Logos meaning kind of the word in Greek. I think it's Greek, and I think I'm not too off by there. If you've ever read in the Bible, in the Bible, in John, there's the whole bit introduction in there where in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and word was with God. I don't know. But that word is logos. Okay, so there's your etymological background for this video. I'll try and include one. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot to do sort of with meaning and significance, and there's a lot to do just with the very oddness of language. And I guess this isn't something that's necessarily restricted to this book because, as I said before, delivering language, all that mess. But there's a whole lot. Like, okay, this one kid's taking a course, like a German language course, but it's not to learn German. It's like surrounds all around hearing German, and like listening to the oddness of what German sounds like without understanding it. And there's also kind of small bits of this where there's different dialogue, where people just talk strange things. Another minor example of this might be there's a lengthy passage where like the offensive coordinator is basically talking about offensive tactics, like warfare tactics. And so that's kind of how everything bridges together, where football and war kind of intersect, so to speak. There's this one character that kind of very famous. He says he's one of the teachers of Gary's, and he says that, you know, football isn't warfare. War is war. You know, warfare is warfare. And that's, you know, obviously you can infer, or I don't know. Obviously you can put to that whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want. But again, it revolves a lot around kind of how do we make meaning at the very most basic level of language, you know, and how do we do metaphors and comparisons and things like that. The funny thing is, I guess funny, there are a lot of funny things in this book. There are a lot of good, like, hilarious one-liners, and I don't have time to kind of go through my collection of favorites, but like I read before, there are a couple moments that are kind of that funny, where you're like, just, where'd that come from? Because it does center around a college football team, and there are bound to be certain funny bits and hyperboles about that. One of the other thing that's kind of very hyperbolic in the book, and what I'm trying to get to, segue, is the sort of jabs, I guess, DeLillo takes at academia, how sort of everything is getting more academiized. I don't know if that's a word, but how, you know, think about like 80 years ago, what was academia? Well, it was like, you know, learning kind of maybe some liberal arts, and then like, you know, business and engineering and all that stuff. But in this, Gary Harkness takes a whole bunch of like warfare classes, like theory of nuclear warfare or something. That may not be an actual class, but it is in the same vein, in the same humor as DeLillo's trying to get to. And so it's something he also does in White Noise, where the main character is the professor of Hitler studies and founded Hitler studies at his given college. And so there's a lot of kind of subtle comedy, as well as, you know, the black fucks comedy. Not that should be the one reason you read this. And you should read this, because I think it's a very good book. I kind of wish I had read this as my first DeLillo book. I read Falling Man first, which I wouldn't recommend as a first DeLillo book. I still don't really know what I think about it, and it's been over a year since I read that. And the same goes with a couple other of DeLillo's later stuff, excuse me. But if you can, track down his early stuff. A book like this, or Americana, those were his first two books. Track that down. I highly recommend it. And this is, I feel like, all DeLillo books should sort of come with this sort of like user buyer beware. As I talked about before, DeLillo has some strange, weird dialogue, and it may or may not be seen as an attempt to just play with the odd, the strangeness and the oddness of certain kinds of language. Because he does it in the book before this too, in Americana. Americana was his first one, as I just mentioned. But you know, just so you have that fair warning, that's just something that persists, and in a lot of ways, it just kind of makes you think. Just sort of the certain phrases, or maybe certain aphoristic sounding lines in there, kind of make you go, or you know. So either side is good. But yeah, I, I would, if you've never read DeLillo before, this is a good way to start out. You don't have to like or love football to like or love this book, as the way I think a lot of books about sports tend to be. You don't have to love that particular sport. But that's all I've got for you. I think I covered most of what I wanted to get to, and I stumbled over plenty of words along the way, so I think I've met my quota for today. Until next time, and I hope that next time is soon, I love you so much. All of your sexy love handles and your protruding belly buttons and weird pubic hair and body odors. All of it. I love it.